Alright. I'm pretty sure I can be heard. I've got my mic up friggin' far enough to my face. I got a camera on my shit. It's pro level. Pretty nice. About to get back to it. I tell you. I friggin' tell you. That was a little bit of a preview of stuff that's happening later. We had the spaghetti noodles tonight. The youngin', she went nuts with it. Positively flabbergasting herself with the amount of noodles that can be put down by a human. So, we are back on. And I'm glad I've got this photographic reference of gingerbread, because otherwise, what the hell would I reference? I mean, I've got the photograph, but I don't want to print nothing that damn big. I mean, crying out loud. We're working on a budget here. So I'm just gonna scrape in a few more basics, and then we're taking off. Gonna make it happen. So yeah, we're still at war. I suppose that's gonna be a thing for a while. They keep going on a peace process. You know, we're gonna have meetings. We're gonna try to make some deals. All that good stuff. But somebody keeps mucking up the works, and it's not who you'd think it is. Well, some people, it might be exactly who you think it is. So we'll leave that little assertion there, because apparently right now it's against the law to speak out against a certain ally. Got to get that pen warmed up. Make it flow much more nicely. Because as it is with every bit of work I do, we are looking to get the light quality here. Light quality is a wonderful thing. It can virtually make or break any piece of art you decide to throw yourself into. Regardless whether it's a masterpiece of classical style or whether it's just a choice view like I'm working on here. You know, either any way you slice it, so to speak. It's going to come down to your fundamentals. Your technique is going to matter. And this, I'll admit, yesterday I was a little bit way tired. As a matter of fact, every time I get on here, I am super tired. So I'm looking forward to the day when either I have a 100% flexible schedule and I can have the kind of gig where I'm able to actually do this for part of the day when I have energy, at least. You know, that would be pretty nice, I think. I do suspect, I declare, I think that would be good. So I know as of this week, where I live, we're officially over $5 a gallon. That's all the makings of great, I suppose. Some of this cross-hatching in here so we can imply that there's some sort of a direction. When really, ladies and gents, I'm pretty directionless when it comes to basically everything. Yeah. Here we are on a Wednesday night. I'm supposed to be watching wrestling. I know AEW was on earlier, but I'm kind of slipping up. I'm kind of disillusioned with wrestling right now, honestly. I think the greed has gotten a little much. Like the real shameless cross-marketing. We recently had my man Pat McAfee make his return to the WWE scene. Not in any capacity, which I say I can appreciate. I mean, you know, Pat McAfee is good. I think he's one of those fellas that if you had a life you could choose from, for me, I think it's right up there. Because not only is he a professional announcer for ESPN, he did his duty announcing on WWE for quite a while. And, you know, I mean, he's still athletic, still young enough to, and plausibly go in and actually perform in the ring every now and then. I mean, the man can do a backflip off the top rope. And despite what they tell you, there's probably a decent percentage of fellas that hit in the ring that can actually do that. But none of them are announcers on ESPN. None of them have their own sports show in the morning. None of them have a Super Bowl ring. Guess who does? Pat frickin' McAfee. So all I'm saying is the heel turn, it feels a little forced. It's not that he's not good at it per se. I mean, it hits, but it's just hitting. It's not over. Like you could not 100% convince me that this guy is like somehow wanting to save the business of wrestling. Yeah, I guess that's the right word I would use for it. It feels a bit forced. It's a labor. What are you doing? Maniac here came in from outside with her stinky breath. Actually, her breath ain't so stinky right now. I've been putting some stuff in her water. I mean, it still stinks, but it doesn't stink like death, right? She still won't let me clip her nails. Every attempt I make, starts squirming like she's gonna get friggin' stuck like a sacrificial pig, for crying out loud. That was needed, much needed. All right, let's do some blending and see how this is holding up. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go at this with the alcohol because I have not done that once yet on this piece. I think it could only help. There we go. Like butter. So this weekend I have a party to attend for the little grandbaby man's first birthday. It'll be an event. Well, there's something awesome about a first birthday because the little fellas are now aware enough. There are all sorts of silliness about them. They've got their little attitudes. You can definitely tell if you're falling out of favor with them. It's good for you. Did I get a little bit of an overblend? Maybe. But you know, the good thing about this is you can always use your colorless blender to oversaturate it with alcohol, and that will typically take out some of the darker parts when you've made something way too dark. Now it won't get rid of all of it, but it will let you adjust some tone. Can you dig it? Thank you to whoever has stopped in to say hello. If you have any questions, toss them out. Not a whole lot off limits, says I. Adjust that a bit. I was getting some kind of warning when I'm doing my streamings. Like, oh man, you don't have the bandwidth. And I'm almost wondering if that's like some kind of a fake out to scare me into like buying a higher speed internet plan, because it's pretty rare that I have any frames. Well, I know that I have some frame drop, but it's not enough to affect like the video speed or anything like that. It doesn't affect the video quality. The stream is good. Start getting a little more painterly here, because as you may be able to observe, value is starting to build. And of course later on, when we get into a little more advanced areas, we'll be taking a look at some different things that we can do. For instance, here I'm going to try to build it so that there are some highlightable areas that can look a little bit like that muscle sheen. And really, I think overall the skill building on this ruckus and watching, well, the chats as they come through, that's still difficult for me to do. Haven't much been able to get used to that aspect of it. Especially when I gotta like crank my head over all the way and all that good stuff. So I may have to get an entirely different desk setup in order to keep on with this. But c'est la vie. This is the price we pay, no? was thinking about watching some videos and doing some commentary. Sometimes it's all good to just relax and let the work do itself. And also, you know, working during the day, it is a little tough. Well, let's face it, I just took like a month off. No streaming at all for a month. It's a lot of effort, because by the time you can finally get everything set up and actually get on for what I do, that takes a lot out of you before you actually get on. And then once you're actually able to get into the creative space, like I'm going to try to limit myself to about an hour tonight, which not a lot of, especially where I started out on Twitch. It seems like a lot of the creators, when they're on, they could be on for several hours. And, you know, they've got all this stuff developed. They've got their little chibi characters on screen that are, you know, smiling, making kawaii faces when they get comments and things. Not really my bag, could be, but I mean, that all takes effort. Of course, those guys kind of got stuff mastered. They've, you know, got their online shops, they've got their buy me a coffee things up, and that's all stuff that ultimately, bottom line, I just don't got the time. Wish I did. Wish lawn mowed itself. Wish dinner cooked itself. Wish there weren't bills to be paid that don't wait for you to have a good amount of sales. You know what I'm saying? Shit, it doesn't look like a whole lot of people on it. I do got an additional viewer on here and there. Calm down, lady. All right, come here. All right. Beast didn't want to be alone. She wants to be all up in my face. Smelliness. She's always ready to fight too. Right? going to put you down, okay? Don't you try to harass me. Trying to bully me into something. Butthead. Yeah, she's ready to fight. As soon as I put her down, gave her a magical little shove. Yeah, she was down to rumble. Shit. And I do have a video loaded, ready to go. Got Zeus. He's a gentleman that does DJing, and he's got some tasty mixes. So I think we're going to listen to a moment of that while I continue on. So he's got quite the friggin' setup here too, and he's always ready to go. I think I could learn some lessons. Damn it. All right, so let's see what fire he's bringing today. And I think this is just from a couple days ago. Let me see, when did this? Yeah, 2 days ago. Exactly. But as you can see, a master of his craft for sure. Not bad at all. Yeah. Oh, there you go. So he just cold dropped in a jam out of nowhere. We like it. We like it. We approve. Alright. I think I'm going to have to knock it off before I get a copyright strike. Because that does tend to happen to me, my punk ass. Oh, we got a new Hassan. Just 4 hours ago. Do I go that direction, or do I go back to the Persian jazz? Now, I have no idea how to get permission to play the Persian jazz on my stream. I know I can, but I am so worried about that copyright strike. At least when I'm just sticking to my own stuff, there's not real danger of copyright strike. But you know, we've got Hassan Piker, who right now embattled. Democrats are trying to decide who's going to follow him and who won't, who actually approves of his endorsement or will visit him and will engage. Because ultimately, I think there's a little bit of silliness going on with our Zionists buddies, where there's just too much lobby here, to the point where, I mean, the word anti-Semitism, it's very far away from what it's supposed to mean when most people use it right now. And it's more of a it's like an Uno reverse, where it's supposed to stop automatically what you're doing. And they trust that it's going to be like that because there's so much. I mean, it's loaded. It's a very loaded word. Unfortunately, saying it in response to somebody criticizing, you know, the genocidal actions and all the settlers and, you know, the violence there, and like the bombing of people who are trying to get something to eat. Yeah, it's kind of like, well, bro, we gotta have an Inigo Montoya moment here. It's like that. I do not think that word means what you think it means. Continue trying to get some light value going on here. Because that is definitely needed, my peeps. I have seen a lot of movie previews coming out. Things that are happening, Marvel projects that are coming through fruition, more details emerging on things like Secret Wars, things that are going to tie in together, supposedly. I don't know. I think that for some people there's a bit of Marvel fatigue, in a way. Not really for me. If anything, I'm going to be overloaded with just unashamed nerdiness this entire summer. And, you know, big things like I've got on one of my movie screen over here, I've actually got Dune 2 playing. That's one of my go-tos. And I don't know if it's an official trailer, but at least there's footage of the third part coming out. And we've got Jason Momoa back, coming in as a Gola, which in the Frank Herbert universe, that was the clones of somebody, because he died. Duncan Idaho died. But I know that farther on in the books, the Golas were a thing. And so, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see that, because you know, simply put, the books get pretty wild eventually, way out there in ways that I don't know if cinema could do. Really, even with all the advancements of now, I don't know anybody who could take on a project going forward as bold as the Dune universe gets. And I haven't read a whole lot of what was written. I mean, really, for me, who I like to read, if I read it all, I want to keep it like half an hour and under. Reading Dune, there's no fucking way. There's not a chance that you could even come up for air after a weekend, pretty much. But enough of my bullshit on that. Let us whisper now, Maximus. I want to ruin the movies of this summer, because the thought is so fragile. Speaking of fragile, and trying to give a brief pale nod to Richard Harris as Marcus Aurelius. I did watch Gladiator 2 the other day, and I gave it a look. Initially, I was kind of weirded out by it. It seemed weirdly, oddly structured. Kind of not well thought out, particularly. That said, upon second look, I kind of thought it was all right. You know, if you can get over the whole syphilis twins thing. And speaking of syphilis, I don't know if he's so syphilitic, but there's a fight that's going on Gidi Prime right now. I'm kind of watching out the corner of my eye, and I'm gonna have to do something with some of these. I think I'm gonna have to get a mic stand, because what I'm seeing on my preview is my face is about half cut off because microphone's in the way. And I do hate to rob people of my fucking beauty. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to get a, like, kind of a little boom stand for the mic. It'll be called the Boomstick, in honor of our buddy Bruce Campbell, who I don't know if anybody follows a whole lot, but apparently my man is having some health issues where he serious enough that because I guess he's pretty active on like those the cons circuit, but he had to cancel a lot of his dates and scale back some of his work. But you know, that kind of sucks, because that's one of the guys. I mean, Ash, first of all, in his ridiculous brand of comedic talent. But I really liked like how he's always kind of ever present with anything that Sam Raimi is involved in, like Multiverse of Madness. Oh shit, I loved his appearance in that. You gotta pay the pizza, Papa. You fought well, Atreides. Alright, so now this is starting to take on kind of a painterly look. And once we start getting more in depth, we'll start adding some more details. Good shading and values here. I'm going to have to start going really dark in some of these areas so that it's actually convincing. So that there will be enough contrast in certain areas. Touches with the alcohol. A couple touches with the alcohol. Tequila. Don't fucking judge. All right. Will do lovely things if you let it. Some of those little dots that need to be less apparent. Don't want the young lady to look like she can't control where she's scratching. Still blending away. Gotta love that alcohol smell. Some people would think me wicked. And I'm alright with that. Let's go ahead and get into some more of this material here.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so awesome. Oh
Don't do the
god.
coming out,
Oh,
man. What
this
the
is
hell?
unbelievable. Don't laugh.
So
You
apparently,
hate to see your
Ilan
boy
Omar.
fumble? No, I love to see my boy fumble. I'm gonna be seeing Adam later tonight, and let me tell you.
They bucks. I don't know why.
Oh,
No, I mean, I've got 6 older siblings. I've got 3 brothers, so.
And you've never lost one fight? You could beat up anyone in Congress?
I don't want my brothers being upset about this, but
You
yeah, I
beat
don't-
they butts? I don't know why I said it that way. You beat your brothers'
They
butts?
butts.
To a little girl?
We'll leave that to the imagination.
You were little though.
I was.
Did you do it in front of girls their age?
No,
Thank God. They would have never lived that down.
but I rarely fought
Thank
girls.
God.
I mostly fought boys.
Such a gangster.
I'm sorry.
stay away from her, Adam. Stay away from her.
What a fuck.
Los Angeles, California at the Regent Theater. We sold out the first show. They've added a second. Enough of that. My guest this week is Ilhan Omar, representative from Minnesota in the House of Representatives. Since her election to the House in 2019, Omar has become one of the most well-known, oftentimes maligned politicians in America today. I
Much
really enjoyed
maligned.
getting to know her backstory. I knew some of it, but it's
I gotta
really
get
unlike
some
any other
lines
member
that I
of
forgot
Congress.
about in
At
here.
8 years old, civil war broke out in Somalia, and she escaped to Kenya, to a refugee camp. And at 12, she moved to Virginia with her family before eventually settling in Minneapolis. Since her election to Congress, she's also
Keep this jester away from her majesty is right.
been subject to constant harassment and even death threats. There have been Republican candidates for office who have called for her execution. Multiple people have been imprisoned for plotting her assassination. President Trump has targeted her repeatedly throughout her entire time in Congress. He's advocated for her expulsion from the country, among just other derogatory whatever. Funnily enough, we had this scheduled twice before on the calendar, and those 2 times were the days that New York City had blizzards this year. The Jewish God is mad at me. Hashem is mad at me. The first 2 times, she had
Hashem.
extensive security detail that was provided by Congress. So she was the only member of Congress that had it, and they needed access to do full security sweeps of the studio. And on Friday, when I asked her team if they needed access this weekend, they said that Speaker Johnson has revoked that security. I had a bunch of questions prepared for the Congresswoman about what it's like for a person to endure all that. But what I could tell immediately is that she's genuinely just unafraid and unfazed, or at least she seems like she is. I don't think many people...
So, Speaker Johnson revoked her security detail. And I mean, I've said this before, because, and I think there are even some ladies on the conservative side of things that have served with him. That did not feel welcome with Johnson, where he, he can put on a little bit of a show for the public when it comes to, like, I mean, when he finally swore in Grijalva, he was looking for that appearance of reaching across the aisle. But that little smarmy biatch, I mean, you could tell he was butthurt when she gave him that rebuke. You know, the shaming for like, dude, you closed us down for weeks. And, you know, rightly, he earned that little bit of a drubbing. Probably had to go talk on Grindr about it with somebody later that night. But, you know, we know there's a burner phone at play, because otherwise, you know, Johnson Jr., Little Johnson, which is, you know, what he calls his son, but it's also a code word on Grindr for something else he does. The only thing that's going to take his mind off that Washington business is probably as my Queen Jen from I've Had It, because she tactfully referenced, is when he's eating ass later that night. You've got to trust that pulpit. But all things as they should be. So yeah, we're getting a lot of depth on this. Aside from the obvious, and really, I don't know if this is going to be a piece that I would sell or anything, but I do believe that it is coming together in a way that I really wanted it to. In any case, after exploring the far reaches of my mind and knowing that I veer off into politics while I'm here, trying to sound of any moral high ground, while concentrating very hard on making a convincing go of these booty shorts. Alright, I think with some more blending, that is going to turn out pretty good. As a matter of fact, I'm looking on it on the screen, and it's, yeah, this is starting to pop. This is starting to slap. And how, ladies and gents. All right, let me just fill this in real quick. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it till dead last, and it's going to look like it's not going to develop at the rate it's supposed to. It's got to go along with the rest. Like champagne, you gotta open it, you gotta let it breathe for a minute. Or maybe that's wine. You know, I don't give a fuck. I don't drink either of that shit. Feeling kind of like any second I could burst into just full-on Anthony Hopkins and Bram Stoker's Dracula. She is a bitch of the devil. Yee-hee! Yeah. Alright, I see what I'm trying to do. What time we got now? 11:54. Holy shit, Skittles. That's been a minute. Alright, we'll go back to a little bit of this really quickly. Some of that
We could do that.
political discourse.
I think it takes a really special person to do that. So here's my interview. You do a funny bit up top. If you're still
Bro, you
watching.
got a tube TV on there. I don't even know who this kid is.
She said it was better than Hassan. Just
Adam
right.
Friedland.
That's
Ladies and
bull.
gentlemen, Congresswoman.
Bro,
from
that's
Minnesota.
crazy. That's crazy. Why would you lie like that? Why would you lie like that? This is up, bro. This is up. Okay? This is the worst. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. My number one op. I swear to God. Unbelievable. She never said that. She told me. She said, yuck, I'm going on the Adam Friedland show later. Yuck. That's what she said. Don't say Mog, chat. Shut up.
Ha.
Oh, no more. This is our third attempt at this.
It is.
It is.
Do you think
Stay away from her.
Cursed? Do you think we're cursed?
Stop. Stop trying to say we. Oh, we're cursed. Haha. I stop.
With weather issues.
No, we've had two
You're from
blizzards.
Minnesota, so it's just.
In New York City, we've had two blizzards, and those were both on the day that you were supposed to come.
Welcome to our situation in Minnesota.
Yeah. Do you like it there? It seems plenty cold, no?
Yeah, but as Prince said, it keeps the bad people away.
One thing that kind of is a little bit upsetting to me is that enemy of the show, Mr. Hassan Peker, got you. He snuck in there, and he gave you a tea that everyone, it's become a meme. Hassan got some store-bought bottled tea that was warm.
He doesn't understand the significance. He doesn't. This is why he won't get it. The bond that we have.
And everyone's like, wow, he's such a great guy. So,
It's one of my favorites.
fun.
Ah, yeah. You, Adam. You. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fine.
Get your
But
peeps.
I've done one better.
Okay.
I've gotten
It's a big challenge.
I've got authentic Somali tea. We're
Yeah.
gonna do a cooking segment, late night talk show style. Can we get the boys out here? And we're gonna do a segment called Somali tea.
Okay.
Where
We're actually gonna make Somali tea.
we're gonna make Somali tea. You're gonna
Okay.
teach me how, but I'm also gonna spill some Somali tea.
Okay. All right. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I don't know if you.
I don't know if Trump will approve of this, but
What do you mean? Well, I heard Donald Trump's been getting fat. It's like that kind of thing. We're spilling tea. Hurry up, guys. She's not sure about the show yet. We gotta really win her over with this Somali tea.
did
She's
you
not
hear
into
from Trump?
No, we're not.
She's not into it. She's not into it. Oh, this is 100% Hasanabi W, Hasanabi victory. You got Mog Dive here? What are you talking about? Come on.
I can't believe. Okay, I'm just saying. You can't.
Racism.
I'm just saying your tea can't come.
No, listen, sis, we're spilling the tea and it's gonna be piping hot.
These things need to be grind.
No, here's the leaves.
Okay.
These are special.
The cardamom needs to be broken.
Oh my god, I look like an idiot. What do I turn this on? Extra hot? Do we have water?
Do you need water?
behind you.
His voice is breaking.
So, yeah, from a very...
Can we have water?
Oh, dang.
Wow, this is just, I feel like a Jimmy Fallon, huh? Well, maybe I can serve a little piping hot tea.
I don't know, man. Are we gonna watch this whole shit?
SomaliSpot.com,
Okay.
and I heard that the truth about that Ashraf guy on TikTok is that he's rich because he and his brother work for / own an NGO in Somalia. But you didn't hear that from me.
Okay.
You get it? It's like tea.
Yeah,
Like,
I got it.
okay.
Oh my god! Oh, that's so awesome. Oh god. Oh, this is unbelievable. Don't laugh.
Face.
Adam gets really nervous around POC and woman. Yeah. Walk. Woman of color.
I don't know. A little birdie.
I'm struggling trying to keep
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's open. It's fine.
should be-
We're good to go.
You hate to see your boy fumble? No, I love to see my boy fumble.
So what?
This is why Adam's a comedian and you aren't. He's hilarious. He's
Okay.
trying here, okay? Don't let this fool you. Oh, this is a comedy bit. He's actually sincerely trying.
Clove?
Yeah.
Looks
got
like you
some
put about-
cinnamon, cardamom. It needs to be broken up, but okay.
Okay, well, just
I'm hate watching. I'm hate
a little
watching.
birdie told me that the president of Somaliland, Abdurrahman Mohammed Abdullah, has announced a sweeping cabinet reshuffle involving new appointments, dismissals, and transfers across key ministries. But you didn't hear that from me, sis.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. We were putting you to work. You're the guest. This is going to be delicious, I'm sure. I don't know if you heard this, but Ethiopia and Eritrea have been saying that they have more beautiful lighthouses than us.
Well, we have the longest coast in Somalia, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I heard Eritrea said she had breathing issues, but really, it was a nose job. Oh my god, we're being so bad right now? So
God damn. I don't know how to take that. Bro just came up with a new format. And I know my man Piker, I guess me being my generation and I'm a Gen Xer. So like there is a different type of engagement that me and my ilk in general go for. That's not to dump anything on this generation at all. Because I feel like me and a lot of people in this generation, we can communicate just fine. But everybody gets into their comfort space when it comes to communicating. And I suppose you could call it code switching, where I'm probably going to talk differently with people of my generation who I know are in my generation, that we can talk about things that happened in a way of familiarity. Like I watched Scrubs when it came back. I watched the first and second episode. And I know that I know what they were playing at when they had Turk and JD getting back together, and they were like doing a little bit of that wasa. I know what that's about. I remember that commercial. Got these younger creators, and I talk like I've been doing this so fucking long. even have people watching, for crying out loud. But I get what they're basically saying. But there's some nuances that I'm just not going to catch on to. Like mogging. I know it's in generally it can be defined as, you know, coming out on top. You're outdoing somebody. You're mogging somebody. That said, I know there's more you can read into it than I am able to. And really, generationally, I did see a fella, and I gotta find that video. I'd like to go over that video, where my man was explaining how Gen Xers work in our mindset. It's just different because, you know, everybody's got the sense of urgency. Now, Gen Xers, we've got our own set of, you know, way of going about things in an urgent manner. But it's not going to be like a lot of other generations realize, you know. We can still get stuff done. But I think, like, we're not going to do it to be fucking king of anything. We just want to be able to get our shit done and not be bothered. Waka. Indubitably. Yeah, even the Waka. I know for sure we got, well, what is it? Not quite 10, like maybe 8 years difference. But being a millennial, that little decade gap, there was a lot that happened. Oh yeah, there's definitely being raised with weird standards, for sure. Now, in my generation, we kind of missed out on the importance and development of, well, not just tech speak, but with even being used to tech being a vital part of discourse, and not just with something as silly and quaint as email. Like, we're talking message boards, emojis, you know, there's coding, there's signaling that because it wasn't formative to me, it's always going to feel a bit alien. Now I can do it because, you know, even though I didn't grow up in that space, I am familiar with the way a lot of things work because we were the first generation that had, like, PCs. And grew up with the concept of all this technology developing as it has this far. And so we can look at it a little more philosophically. And while it is such a big part of everything right now, we're probably the generation that could most easily go without it or adapt to it. Either way. You know, and those little tiny skills that there's a way of thinking that goes with them. So CB radios, for instance. Wouldn't be hard for us to get into that mode. Morse code, even walkie-talkies, things like that. There's all sorts of stuff that we could approach and kind of take more duck to water on it than some of the generations that are newer. That said, that's not a disadvantage for, you know, millennials and such. Because ultimately I think that most of the positives that have been gained in things like the labor markets, you know, right to work, well, I don't know so much about right to work, but let's say like workplace discrimination, equality in the workplace. You know, we did some pretty good fighting for that. But when it came to millennials, you guys were more of like a, yeah, we're gonna get that. Hold my beer. Now lately it's been kind of under attack. Well, what am I saying? Kind of. It's fully been under a 24/7 full court press assault blitzkrieg, right-wing fuckery. A leg humping the shit out of it. So, but I think that's a storm that we can all weather. We'll look to each other's generational gifts for support from each other. As the hippies go, and really, I did go to that No Kings protest, the last one, and oh my, the hippies, all gray-haired and just ready to like stand their ground, that like the proving ground. You know, I think the passion there. And the good thing is it's kind of woke them up, because those guys were like, hey, we thought we had won these battles already. And so, yeah, that was a rude awakening for a lot of people when sex crimes, friggin' dumpy pants got elected. But yeah. I think we can leave it there tonight. Yeah, that's actually looking like it's coming along just fine. I'm gonna put in some time on that. I'm actually gonna separate some other pictures that I want to start working on. Some straight up Dia de los Muertos types concepts, so we can get those in the bag and get them started, and you know, just keep pushing through on these art creations. Hopefully soon I'll be able to have some prints made of things that I've been doing, and have those for sale at a more affordable price than the originals, because I know that ultimately a lot of people would want to buy some of my stuff, and this is mostly for people I know. You know, they have no problem separating from 5, 10, even 20 bucks. You start pushing it between 30 and 50. But when we're talking originals, you know, depending on the size, you're looking at 150 bucks for even the little ones. Indubitably. In any case, I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I'm pretty satisfied with where the picture is right now. It's on its merry way. I have a painting that I was working on for a few weeks, and I think it kind of burnt me out. Struggling with that one a little bit, and I might have to scrap it, and that's not a bad thing when it comes down to it, because when you're creating art, it's not all going to be home runs. You know, there are going to be a lot that, and who knows, I could look at it later. I'm not gonna get rid of it for sure. It's gonna be kind of part of the process, like a sketchbook. You know, you look at it, if it's failing you, you gotta put it down for a while, or you gotta move ahead. And so right now, doing both, put it down, moving ahead. Gonna look at some other things that I might be able to start paintings on, but other concepts I'm working on, I got to get those started. And really, because if you're an artist, you've always got ideas. You have things that you want to work on, that you want to see if those are going to be able to take shape. And sometimes if something is just in the way creatively, even if it's another piece, you gotta remove it and move forward. And if you need to come back to it later, you can always do that. You know, you may never come back to it. Ultimately though, it's more experience under your belt. And like, next time you're working on a piece, if something feels familiar to you about where you got stuck before, it can help you avoid those same pitfalls. You know, if it starts to feel like shit, this is going a way I didn't want it to, or this is where it felt like at this stage. How can I move beyond that? What can I do different? Or maybe I should just light it on fire. You know, sacrifices to the gods are not frowned upon. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. Otherwise, I'll be up talking fucking forever, and Daddy's got to work in the morning. Now, on Friday, I might do a mini broadcast, as there is a daytime date. I have Friday off. I'm going to be taking friggin' the honey badger out to some coffee during the day at our art spot. So, we're going to do that. Make it special. Might have to play a game of Battleship. Might have to utterly fucking crush her at friggin' Connect Four again. Because she can win that Battleship all day long. That's fine. I got humiliated on Battleship. But there's no way you can meet with the Cyclone that I am on Connect Four. Fuck that shit. Don't play. Anyway. Calling it a night, hoping whoever came by appreciated what I'm laying down. I sure appreciate you stopping in. And if you got any other comments or questions, get at me in my messages. You know, on my other socials, easy to get a hold of me. Just drop me a line if you have any questions, concerns, pretty much anything. Ideas, requests, and we'll take a look at it when we can. But in any case, you guys take care of yourselves. Don't let the bastards get you down, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much. Good night.